We'll draw our river here, and our first step is to use the distributive property. 2 times 4x is 8x, and then I have a minus 2 times 3 is 6, and then I bring down my minus 8 and my equals and my 18. At this point, we need to leave change opposite, and so at that point, we're ready to combine these like terms. A negative 6 and a negative 8 make a negative 14. And then we'll bring down our 8x. We can have plus negative 14, but I think it's easiest to, let me find my little eraser guy here. Since this is a double sign, I'm going to clean that up. So plus negative 14 is the same thing as minus 14. So I erased too much. There we go. 8x minus 14. And then I have an equal sign and an 18 on the side. And now at this point, you're at a two-step equation. We know how to solve a two-step equation. We get rid of the lonely guy first. Minus 14, we're going to get rid of him by adding 14 to both sides. I do this work here, that cancels out, and I bring down my 8x. You have to bring this down. Then we come over here and we have, let's see, 2, carry the 3, we have 32. And at this point, we divide both sides by 8 because we're trying to get rid of this multiplication. The 8's cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to 4. These are my, actually no, take that back. My favorite checks are the ones with variables on both sides, so I spoke too soon. Anyway, I'm going to change these into brackets because I'm going to use parentheses for my x. So I'm going to have brackets 4, and then in parentheses, I'm going to have my x, which is 4. And I have minus 3, brackets, minus 8, and then I equals 18. Okay, order of operations says that I do whatever's inside the parentheses or brackets first. Inside these brackets, I've got multiplication and subtraction. Multiplication comes first. So I will have 16 minus 3. And at this point, I can write them in parentheses because I've gotten rid of this set of parentheses. So now this is what I have. Order of operations, I still got to keep going with my parentheses. So 16 minus 3 is 13. And I bring everything else down. And now I do the multiplication. 2 times 13 is 26. I subtract 8, and I will actually do this step as my final step to prove that it's right. All right, looking at all this, I hope I have enough room. Actually, you know what I can do? I can just, cool. All right, now I do have enough room. Okay, I'm going to draw my river for 11 equals 5 minus 6n plus 3n. And I need to combine, some like terms. So in order to do that, I want to leave change opposite just to remind myself that this is a negative 6n. So when I put these together, a negative 6n and a positive 3n, the signs are different. I subtract, and it keeps the sign of the quote-unquote larger number. So I'm left with a negative 3n. And then I bring down my 5 and my plus, and I have an equals and 11 here. Now again, I've got a double sign. This is really sort of messy to me, so I'm going to erase the double sign and replace it just with minus. All right, so now I've got a Klingon over here with a 3, and I've got a lonely guy with a 5. I'm going to get rid of the lonely guy. How am I going to do that? Some people added 5. Well, 5 plus 5 is 10. We don't want 10. We don't want anything at all, so we need to subtract 5 from both sides. Okay? When I do that, these cancel out. 11 minus 5 is 6 equals, and then I bring down everything that I have left. This minus 3n is the same thing as a negative 3n. Minus, negative, subtraction, they all are the same thing. So at this point, I know that in order to get rid of this Klingon, I need to divide by negative 3. And I do that on both sides, and these cancel out, and I'm left with n is equal to negative 2. I'm not done yet. I have to use my parenthetical promise. So anywhere I see an n, I'm going to put a -2, and then everything else is going to come down. So the 5 and the minus and the, oops, I forgot the 6 and the plus and the 3. Okay, I think it's always a good idea to leave change opposite just so that I remember where my negatives are. Order of operations says I don't add first, I multiply. So a -6 times a -2 is a positive 12. I'm going to multiply here. 3 times -2 is a -6. And then I still have a plus here, and I still have a 5 and a plus here. And your last step is to actually put all these together and prove that you get 11.